am a Pakistani, Indian, Salinas, Californian, American, Muslim, female, daughter, mother, wife, sister, kathak dancer, performer, teacher, entrepreneur, arts advocate, citizen of the world. This is a very truncated version of my intersectionality. How did this Salinas-born Pakistani girl find herself on a path to practice, promote, and preserve classical dance of South Asia? With all the otherness that I often felt, how is it that I also found my greatest comfort in the mix of it all? Born in the salad bowl capital of the world, I lived in the dichotomy common to many children of immigrant parents. I was an ABCD, an American-born, confused Desi. Growing up, my siblings and I, we loved our culture, and it was ours, not defined by anybody else. We ate Pakistani food, we listened to the music, we visited India, Pakistan, we celebrated the Islamic traditions that we felt connected to as a family. At the age of 5, I began my journey as a dancer in ballet and jazz, and until the age of 18 years old, I was a baton twirler. Not the typical activity for the daughter of Pakistani Muslim immigrants. As we got older, we did get to know other South Asian families in our area, and we were always a little bit on the periphery of this community, as they were more religious, more conservative than we were. And I remember personally feeling quite self-conscious around them. Our family would host large gatherings where we would invite almost every Indian and Pakistani we knew. We would fill the house with singers and the sounds of the tabla, the harmonium, the songs in Hindi, in Urdu, and we would literally dance until the sun came up the next morning. I remember feeling so close to my family on nights like this. And it was moments like this where I had such pride in my culture. In the 90s, at one such music party, as we used to call them, my mom said to me a few hours into the party, "Beta, child, I need you to go to the store to get some milk for chai." Not an uncommon request. But right now, I look down at my clothes and I thought, there is no way I am going to the grocery store in Salinas on a Saturday night wearing my Pakistani outfit. You did not know who you were going to see, and those baggers, they were pretty cute. So I quickly changed, not into sweats, but into something that was cute, casual. I went, I got the milk, quickly came back, got my Pakistani clothes back on, and right into the dancing and enjoying the rest of the night. But I'm certain I did not let anybody at that music party see that I had changed, because to them, I was culturally all in, and I had nothing but consistency of pride in my culture. What was that about? This is what can best be described as cross-cultural code switching. The grocery store in Salinas was not a foreign environment, but there was something inside me that was afraid to feel like a foreigner. What if I ran into somebody from high school? What if I saw one of those cute baggers? Would they think I looked strange? But what was I so afraid of? Being the other? For college, I attended San Francisco State University, and halfway into my first year, I had been dancing for 13 years straight and needed to continue to do so. So I saw that kathak, classical dance of North India, was offered. I thought my previous dance training would help, but I also felt some cultural insecurities starting to surface. I did, however, on the surface also feel, well, at least I look the part. Funny how now the way I looked, in my mind at least, was going to work in my favor. Have you ever done that? And by that, I don't mean using your looks in the sense of vanity to get something that you need or want, but rather relying on stereotypes or profiling that exist to help us and help us take advantage of such profiling. So I showed up to my first kathak class in jeans, and I had a super short, very stylish, far from traditional, super short haircut. I could tell that when my teacher, who happened to be a world-renowned master of the form, saw me, I was an enigma. Classic face, but so American. It seemed that in some way I was trying to now navigate these two worlds in the university setting. And even though I knew I was walking into a class of Indian classical dance, I could not shed my American style in lieu of embracing my cultural clothing. Cross-cultural code switching seemed to be at play again, however strange the display of it was. So the teacher asked me my name on this first day, and when he heard my Muslim name, he said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Pakistan." He said, "Are you ABCD?" And I looked at him perplexed. I didn't know the meaning of the term yet. And he said, "Where were you born and brought up?" I said, "Salinas." I was given a very peculiar look in his face and a nod, and he said, "Pakistani Salinas girl. Interesting." Yes, that's how I felt too. Interesting. For those of us that were South Asian in the dance class, there were expectations for us to know our mother tongue, our history, our cultural heritage. For me, I felt inadequate and challenged. And though my love for kathak was increasing, I felt an internal struggle persisting within me. I progressed quickly in the dance with hard work, discipline, and very intense training. I became a member of the same teacher's professional dance company, an instructor in his school, and somebody who was deeply devoted to learning this art form and the cultural nuances that surround it. I trained alongside a diverse group of women, some South Asian, some not. I happened to be the only Pakistani Muslim in this group, and together we would travel to India to perform. And I recall it would be the non-South Asians that would more often receive the praise from audience members and press because they were executing the dance so well. And I thought to myself, hey, what about me? I was born and brought up in America. I worked just as hard as they did to learn this dance form just because I look like this. I wasn't born with these skills. Ironic, the same profiling that can come with privilege in one moment as it did when I first started my training and thought I look the part, well, here it was, in my mind, putting me at a disadvantage in this context. Through the confusion about where I fit in it all, I continued to train, practice, perform, and teach kathak dance, and I have now done so for 24 years. I perform and teach internationally, and now I have my own nonprofit cultural arts organization where I train the next generation of kathak dancers, many of them South Asian Americans, and likely, consciously or not, are finding their own rhythm with cultural code switching between being American and reconciling that with their own cultural heritage. For the past 5 years, I've been doing work extensively in Pakistan, going there at least twice a year to teach and perform. The desire to do this had always been something inside me, but finding the courage to initiate this work has been awesomely empowering. Due to political and religious barriers, dance has gone through a period of suppression in Pakistan. And I can own that as an American, even as a dancer, because of my Americanness, I am afforded certain privileges, and I'm accepted at a different level. However, because of my Pakistani roots, I do straddle this place of neither here nor there. I try to be very conscientious about the responsibility I have when doing work in Pakistan, and I try to be sensitive to the cultural nuances that exist there. For example, I do not pray 5 times a day. Though when I am in Pakistan and I hear the azan, the call to prayer, if I happen to be dancing at that time, I will stop, wait for it to be done out of respect. Through this work abroad, I find myself in the role of also sharing my experiences with people outside of Pakistan, opening their minds and hearts to the culturally rich country that is far from the negative light that it is portrayed in the media. The work that I get to do fills me with immense pride. However, the idea of otherness creeps in still so strongly. I don't doubt my skills as a kathak dancer, but I still have insecurities about my Americanness in Pakistan. It's the little big things like my American accent. I look the part until I open my mouth. I want to attempt to speak Urdu, and my Urdu skills have improved significantly. But when I'm there, I fear the criticism, the teasing, and yet it doesn't happen. And the only person that seems to be caught up in this is my worst critic, myself. With my total confidence in my skills and knowledge, because of these accompanying insecurities, I can totally admit that I have imposter syndrome. How is it that I know that I'm good at what I do, and yet I still face this feeling of inadequacy? I'm always questioning if I'm getting opportunities because I'm American, or am I not getting opportunities because I'm American? Is it this look with this classic face and I think I'm being judged on my dance? And am I being judged on the merit of those abilities? And with all this time in Pakistan, am I still an ABCD, or am I more Pakistani than I've ever been? I love being able to bridge all of these parts of myself, fully acknowledging that it is my privilege as an American to be able to do the work that I do, and also as the daughter of parents who never discouraged me from following this path. And why then have I felt the need to be one or the other, either here or there? Here is how I am continuing to find my rhythm and flow to mute these voices of self-doubt. First, I'm learning to own all of me. Those intersections I mentioned at the beginning, Pakistani, Indian, Salinas, Californian, American, Muslim, female, kathak dancer, they are all me. They are all part of me. Second, who is defining this otherness that I often feel? How is our societal structure making us feel like outsiders in our very own skin, in our own existence, in our own true selves? I have realized I am the only one that can define who I am. Third, cross-cultural code switching is not always bad. It can also be seen as having cultural sensitivity and a way to build cultural bridges rather than divide us. And last, and to me most important, I've learned to be authentic and unafraid. These two words have become my guiding principles. As I continue to do the work in Pakistan and work through those inhibitions, I have also learned that through a genuine and humble approach, coupled with a fierce fearlessness, I am individually growing, and I know that I am making an impact greater than myself. I ask all of you to challenge yourself to first find your identity and your intersectionality. What are all of the wonderful components that make you, you? Knowing and acknowledging all parts of yourself will allow you to own all parts of you. And be okay with these parts getting shuffled and reprioritized in the various environments that you find yourself in. However, also be aware of how you might be feeding into stereotypes of physical attributes, even when you are imposing those stereotypes on yourself. And last, find your authenticity and your fearlessness. It's okay to waver. This just means that we are in constant reflection and self-evaluation. But when you know, you know. Embrace you and move forward with all of you to find your own rhythmic flow. Thank you.